Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's midweek Maranatha Prophecy Update. Glad to have everyone joining with us today as we talk about this threat alert mechanisms of mind control. And hey, I think we've got someone great here in the house to have this conversation with. You. Hey guys, why don't we just welcome John Prescott. He flew all the way from Australia to be here today. Well, he's here for some other things, but
all good.
But he's also here with us today as well, and so we're looking forward to today's conversation. How's everything been going for you in the land down under?
It's good.
Yeah,
it's
good.
going kind of crazy. I am looking forward, though. It's as you guys enter winter, it's going into summer there. So I'm kind of missing my summer. So I can't wait to get out of here.
But at least, I mean, the temperatures have been great. I mean, it's been
Actually, yeah.
80, 79 degrees, that kind of thing. So I don't know. I love Vegas.
No, all good. I
love Vegas.
I can see why you like it. You can pretty much everywhere where you got to get to. It's you just tell them
a few hours away.
Well, make a left after the casino.
Right. There you go. There you go. There you go. So yeah. So but you enjoying your time out here so far? And
absolutely. With the exception of I got sick as soon as I hit the ground. But a little touch of the COVID probably.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Do we need to socially distance, do a mask, ventilator, a few shots in the arm?
We did.
You
a
know?
little shot in the arm. Yeah. Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, and oh my goodness, great. You survived.
Yes.
I
survived.
You are
Imagine
a survivor.
That. Imagine that.
That is incredible. Wow. Wow, you lived to tell.
Yep.
There you go.
We're good.
There you go. All right. Well, hey, there are so many mechanisms of control that are out there today, and you know, when we look at the time that the world is heading into, and we read our Bibles and we see all of the control mechanisms really there that will be there for the world. And so as we get closer to that period of time, I say this all the time, folks, we would expect to see things continuing to set up. And we're finding that in a lot of ways. All kinds of things are being controlled right now. AI is growing by leaps and bounds. It's taking jobs away from a lot of the public, and some of the things that they're talking about that will even do in the future is really concerning. But don't worry about that, because government already has a fix to that problem when they talk about universal basic income. Right? So everyone will just, right? Otherwise known as communism, right? Universal basic income. And by the way, what was it? I think it was Yuval Noah Harari had said, "You'll have nothing, but you're going to be a happy camper, so to speak."
Something
yeah,
like
it's
that.
something like that. That's,
you just jogged my mind. I'm thinking to myself, does this mean, like, especially with this latest election with the dude in New York City?
Oh, Kami Mamdani.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is that going to be now the test ground for the UBI that's going on there? I mean, you know, people, it's almost like the book of, Judges, where it's like, you know, here it is, the Jews wanted their king, so God said, finally, okay, well, here you go. Yeah. I kind of look at the situation in New York City in the same way. You know, they wanted him by leaps and bounds. It's like, okay, you're going to get what you're going to get. What do you do?
Right, but you know, when you talk about reaping and sowing, we were talking a little bit about this last night. When you talk about reaping and sowing, you sow one seed, but when that seed grows into a plant, right, like a fruit tree, an apple tree, you get numerous apples with numerous seeds in each of those apples. So the reality is that you always reap much more than you sow. So if you are sowing what is good and righteous, before the Lord in your Christian walk, you're going to reap so much
That's
more
true.
than the one seed that you had sown. But the same thing rings true for the things of the flesh and these kinds of things that we're seeing, that we're talking about right now.
That's very true. And for me, I'm very curious how this is going to unfold. I mean, originally I'm from New Jersey, the armpit of America. But growing up in New York City, I mean, this is the frustrating thing for me too, because growing up in New York City in the 70s, I remember going to these Yankee games, let's say in the Bronx, and just, these burned down buildings, these just dilapidated buildings. And then in the 80s, you had Mayor Ed Koch come in and turn the whole thing around. I think people were just sick of what the corruption going on, political corruption, police corruption going on. And so Ed Koch turned it around, and then you had Mayor Giuliani go on top of that and make it even better. Mm-hmm. So the fact of when, here it is, what was it, just 2020 or whenever it was, with going after Giuliani at the time, it's like, are you for real? I mean, that was amazing to me. And here it is just the other day. And I don't know all the ins and outs, but if you saw it, I think it was not yesterday, 2 days ago, it was Trump pardoned Giuliani along with a whole bunch of them.
I did see that.
So I'm curious the aftermath even of that, just from an outside looking in.
Right.
But, well, look, I say good for him because I know what Giuliani did for New York City. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Right. So when you see someone like Rudy Giuliani in New York City, mm-hmm. and now you see Mamdani that's there, and he is democratically elected, that shows you where the people are coming from. By the way, it was women who really turned that vote for him dramatically. And by the way, and this one can be really difficult for me to grasp, but many of those that voted for him were actually people that are Jewish.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Yeah,
think about that.
Well, if you think about it, though, too, I mean, what I found in my experience, in the United States here, most Jewish people are Democrat, though, too. So, I mean, I could be wrong on that one, but that's at least in the time that I lived here. That's kind of how it was. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's really something to think about. So, here's something else to think about. I saw on Breitbart, says America's #1 country song, Walk My Walk, is AI generated. Well, I'm not one personally for country music anyhow, but I'll save some of that maybe for another time. But listen to this. Talk to us here for a little bit about this, because AI is infiltrating, and this is the thing, AI is infiltrating every part of our society. It's all about control. And what are your thoughts about just that right there taking place?
That's very interesting. And let me preface this conversation even just to say that I think you and I would both agree that we're seeing the development of AI, which could ultimately become the beast system that is talked about in Revelation 13. There's got to be some sort of control mechanism in place that basically is all-seeing and all-knowing. And, this is Satan's way of control on everyone, because he's not omniscient, he's not omnipresent.
Right.
So therefore, there needs to be something already in place before the 7-year tribulation actually comes in. So that's, I think, what we're seeing is this development of this beast system. Now, look, you can use it for good or you can use it for evil. I wouldn't necessarily I know you probably think country western, using it for that is probably evil in your book, and that's okay. But I have my own thoughts about country western music. No judgment, people, on country western music. However, there's a guy actually on YouTube named Rick Beato who I've been following this whole AI thing. It's very interesting, where he basically shows you exactly how to do it. And I can't remember the name of the video, but he said that he uses this one AI-generated thingamadoober, where it's like, okay, you type in a prompt where it says, okay, I want this genre of song, and it writes all the lyrics, what's the outcome of that. And then you take those lyrics and plug it into a whole other AI thing. And you think, oh, okay, it's going to pump out some, wimpy little song. Dude, no, I guarantee that song that you're pointing out and referencing right there, that was just a prompt for AI. And I've shown some stuff, through just even the AI video work that's going on right now. I can guarantee you that was a finished, engineered, and produced piece using those lyrics that were AI generated that got pumped into that. And then here it is, you've got this mess. By the way, I used to work at a sound studio back in the day in my 20s. So I know engineering pretty well. And I'm like, oh, well, I give up. Why would you even try at that point? I've heard some other stuff. It's like, it's a joke. It's like, the whole idea of music, think about this. This is all about being creative. And it just takes the whole creativity part out of it. I mean, yeah, I could see there's some small benefits for it, but beyond that, I just throw my hands up.
I mean, when you see that not only is it involved in this, but that it has become the #1 country song.
Well, you knew that
in
was coming.
America right now. And this is what gets me, folks, is that, again, it is infiltrating every part of American society. It's been probably since early this year, I think really early this year. And I had shown some video clips where pastors are having AI give the sermon. We're not even talking about, like we were talking earlier, about AI writing sermons for pastors, which is its own issue. We're talking about AI.
You don't do that, right?
Shouldn't I do that? No, don't do that. But we're talking about AI was literally giving the sermons. I saw AI doing that. AI leading the people in communion, leading the people in worship, literally taking over the service.
I did 2 videos on my channel on this. One of which was AI church. And how it goes to show you the desperation, or just people. Again, I think what was it, Romans 1, talking about how people are going to surround themselves with whatever their itching ears want to hear. So if you've got some AI generated robot telling you exactly what you want to hear, wouldn't you want to hear that? Oh, tell me more at that point. Yeah, and all people are looking for is this boost in their own self-esteem, their own character, because they're something is lacking in their life. In fact, if you think about this, this is the struggle with a lot of people, in that we all have this hole when you're born. We all have this hole in our heart. But the fact of the matter is, it's only God, it's only Jesus that's going to fill that hole. But what do people do? They fill it up with drugs. They fill it up with watching sports on TV. Oh, sorry, that was a big one. Is that a soft spot? And all sorts of vices that people have. And it's a trap. I mean, that's part of it. And until you finally surrender and ask Jesus to fill that hole in your heart, everything is fleeting. And that's what a lot of people just don't get. They don't understand that until they finally have this epiphany. So I could very easily see how people would be duped by these AI, because it's giving that quick fix that they need in that moment.
Right. No doubt. All right, well, hey, let's move on with some of these things to talk about here. Again, mechanisms of mind control. What is one of the mechanisms of mind control? The media, the things that the media puts out there, right? I mean, it was when I was a kid. I mean, it doesn't mean that everything that the media was saying was right, because I mean, there were control mechanisms in the media going back many decades ago from the CIA. Well-established fact. But things have continued to get worse. And, when we look at this right here, and this is an interesting article to share right here from the Times of Israel. France says that it will help draft constitution for Palestinian state as Mahmoud Abbas, who is a terrorist, by the way, as Mahmoud Abbas visits Paris. Now, this is interesting because they are continuing to push the narrative of land for peace, which just blows my mind, especially in, what is it now, a little over 2 years since October 7th. Pushing this, and they're still pushing this narrative, and we know that eventually something's going to pop. The Antichrist is going to be the man of the hour at his time that God has set forth for him to rise up, and he's going to enter into that covenant with Israel, and we all know what's going to break loose. But this blows my mind because it's coming from France. It's coming from a European power, and we know that the rise of this next empire that we read about all the way back in the book of Daniel, right? We call it Rome 2.0 or a number of names for it, the revised Roman Empire, whatever you want to call it. And I'll tell you what, this is really something to look at. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's not surprising for one. In fact, I was just even looking at your comments, in the chat group here, and I just jogged my memory. I think there was some country over in Eastern Europe who actually gave up their sovereignty to AI or something like that recently. I can't remember what country it was.
Really?
I'd have to. Yeah, it was the most bizarre thing. I'm like, because they can't figure it out on their own. And that's kind of where I see everybody devolving to. It's like they have no wherewithal to just kind of figure things out. And I almost feel like they're kind of throwing their hands up in the air saying, well, we messed it up, so why not give AI a shot? Without the understanding that what is behind it, I believe, is demonic. It maybe was used for good intentions at first, but it's just like, I think Elon Musk a couple of years ago even warned about where this could potentially go, and it's kind of like how do you stop it? You don't. Right. I mean, look at Terminator. I mean, we use that as a fictitious way of looking at things, but that was kind of one of those things where it's like once it gained knowledge, or what was
sentient.
Yeah, sentient. Yeah, once they got to a point, it's like, okay, we know what we're doing, and we don't need humans anymore.
I've already seen. Some of you all have seen these videos too, where some of these robots. I saw one. This robot literally freaked out on the guy. They're in the. I don't know.
Is that the one where people died?
No, I didn't see anyone dying.
Okay, I heard over in China.
The robot literally went postal.
Yeah.
It just freaked out. I mean, think about that. And we got the U.S. military utilizing this stuff to who knows what degree. Generals are saying, we'll use AI for some things. And I don't know, man. That's a pretty scary thought in and of itself.
Well, do you think it's that people are just becoming lazy? Is that part of the reason behind it?
Well, I think laziness might be a factor. People looking to streamline, what they do. But here's the thing: is that people are so willing to give up their freedoms and give their trust to things that we need to be careful what we allow in. The eye is the window to the soul. And what do we see? We see virtual reality, VR. We see AR, augmented reality. You can get the virtual reality headsets, all of this, and you just allow these things to begin to infiltrate your mind. The eyes are the window to the soul. And where you look is the direction that you go. Just like when you're driving a car. I mean, where you look, you're eventually going to go in that direction that you're looking. So,
yeah, no, it's absolutely crazy, and it's like, look, we're all guilty of this. It's like, how much of that time that we're spent wasting on all of that kind of stuff as Christians, and I'm putting the guilt in. I'm guilty of this as well because I've got my own little thing I do to relax. But it's like, why aren't we opening our Bible in the middle of all of that and actually, I don't know. I'll get on this rant, but it's just kind of like, I think, when we finally see Christ, I think we're going to be so sorry sometimes that we ever devoted so much time, the time that we were given towards these things. I mean, there's one of the things that's always dinging me in the back of my mind. It's kind of like, well, you could be doing this instead. So I mean, that's, just kind of how I think. And trust me, look, this is no guilt trip to anybody there, because I am guilty of the same thing. But it's like, look, look, one of the habits, and I would encourage everyone who's watching this even right now too, you're always going to hear me say this: make Bible reading and daily devotion daily, and just that. And that's how I start my day off, and it just, everything, I can't say everything goes smoothly after that, but it's just kind of like, well, at least if I make it a habit of doing that, it just sets the stage for the day. And it keeps God present in everything I do during the day. I mean, and I say, look, I just want to say, because I know a lot of people talk about this on YouTube and things like this. I just want to let you know, this is what I do every day. This is how I want to lead by example by doing this. And I don't know how many people actually do. I don't know. It's not for me to judge.
Right. All right, so check this out here. AI-powered scams target children while parents stay silent. This is interesting. So kids are spending more time online than ever, and that early exposure is opening the door to new kinds of danger. Oh, I mean, literally, folks, what's happening is we are relinquishing our parental leading and guidance and raising of our children to allow AI to raise our children.
I'm surprised they haven't started AIparent.com. Somebody register that really quickly.
It probably is out there. It probably is out there. I mean, look at this. It says young children face, and this is on Fox News. Young children face real risks online. Children as young as preschool age are now part of the connected world, yet very few understand how to stay safe. It says that the survey had found that 42% of parents with children, 42% of parents with children between the ages of 3 and 5 years old say their child had accidentally shared personal information online. I mean, that is a serious risk to these kids. I saw something the other day, I forget what the exact numbers were, but how this large percentage of children, 6 years old now, is now, I guess, a common time when they're, or age that they're being exposed to pornography.
Yeah.
Think about that. And how do you think they're being exposed to it? I think the number one way is right on here, guys.
Aren't they supposed to make your life better, though? Right?
Yeah.
Making my life better, right?
I don't know.
Listen, I'll tell you what. If you allow me just to kind of go off here, because I'm going to be old school. I don't expect anybody to agree with me on this, okay? But the fact of the matter is, I've been in Australia for the last 16 years, and I felt myself old school then. I feel even older now. But it's funny, I've been in Las Vegas now for almost just about 2 weeks. And I realized how I have not changed with society that has changed here in America. And so if you just kind of follow me for a second here, where it's like, here it is, I had to, this has happened now twice to me, where it's like, okay, I got to go get something. I'm going to go to the store. And whom I'm staying with is just kind of like, why don't you just order it online, John? And I was like, what? Huh? Oh, yeah, I guess you can do that. So it's like, that's so foreign to me in Australia. It's not that you can't do that, but the thing is, it's like, the part of it is the postal system in Australia is just not what it is today. I mean, if you can't use, well, who uses U.S. postal system anyway? But you've got Prime and UPS and all these different vendors who are willing to come to your door within hours and give you exactly what you want. Now, take that idea and stick it in a phone and give it to a 10-year-old. And that's all they know. That's all they know is interaction with this stupid little screen right here, as opposed to that 1 or 2 times that they actually might go to Walmart or might go to whatever store they have to go to, and they don't know how to interact with people. Well, what do you think is going to happen after that when, let's say, somebody bumps into them or something like that, and then they have to go off on them? I mean, this is the degradation of society. I know I'm sounding stupid and old and doing all of this, but it's like, dude, you and me, when we were growing up and being that 8-year-old, what'd you go and do? Huh?
I was on my bike.
Thank you. That's
skating.
exactly right. You're on your bike.
Kickball.
There you go. There you go.
I was pegging. I was up in the neighbor's tree and pegging kids in the head, and they didn't know that I was in the tree. It was awesome.
I love it. Yeah, but that's growing up as a kid. Exactly.
We made things, we built things, we did things, we had proper interaction, and now this is the means of interaction. And when you go out to a restaurant, I don't know what it's like there in Australia, you go out to a restaurant here in Vegas, I've said this a number of times, you'll see a family of 4 all go out to eat, every one of them.
Oh, yeah.
They're like this. I'm like, there's someone across from the table from you.
Dude.
Talk with them.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, again, like who I'm even staying with, it's like, I go to ask a question and they call me from the other room. I'm like, dude, I'm right in the next room. It's like, are you for real? So this is all new to me. I'm sorry if I know somebody out there is just laughing their head off.
He's not staying with me.
No, I'm staying with you. But it's just it's hilarious because for me this is so new, so let's take this. Let's take this, the 10-year-old. Let's play this out now. Because this is where I see the danger in AI. Because let's say, when, not if, when the 7-year tribulation comes. See, I see there's going to be, in fact, if you go to Revelation 6, and it talks about how basically a quarter of the earth is wiped out. We're talking 2 billion people wiped off the earth, okay? You think people are going to freak out a little bit? Well, where are they going to go to? They're going to go to this stupid thing that's feeding them whatever they need to, and of course, because they've not been taught any coping skills,
right,
they're going to look to whomever gives them the answer. So when the Antichrist rolls in on the scene, do you think they're going to know any better? Because one, they haven't read their Bible to begin with, okay? But secondly, what's going to happen is it's like, hey, I got the solution. All you need to do is take this little mark right here. You'll have your income. We'll take care of you. Just live in this 15-minute city. Dude, people are going to be running for the mark. They're not going to be running away from it. This is how this is going to play out.
Well, I think something that is so important that we need to do is we need to really work, the church, folks, needs to really work at building relationships. This doesn't build relationships. Now, there are AI relationships, and people have.
Well, have you seen? We haven't talked about it. There's AI girlfriend.
Yeah,
it's out there.
Oh yeah. And people are building relationships with AI. Folks, listen. If we just work on building this right here, okay? And this level of trust. But the more that, for example, children or adults are just all interrelated with this right here, then they come to church and they need the church to have all of those so-called bells and whistles, laser lights and special effect shows and fog machines and you name it to entertain them.
Let me just throw this out there too, and I said this earlier to you when you were just kind of giving me a tour of the building here. And look, it's great that people have a place to congregate. People have a place that we can all come together. But I hope that every single person here watching understands the church is not the building. I cannot emphasize this enough. The church is not the building, it's the people. It's everyone that you interact with. And I do this all the time where I have people come over, like-minded Christians, and we talk about Christ. We talk about things going on. Somehow the topics always center around Jesus.
Right.
And it's really important, I think, that we are always doing this. Don't talk about the stupid football game that they're going to, I mean, okay, mention it if you need to, about the game tonight and all like that. But folks, especially if you are a born-again Christian, as Jesus said, you must be born again, topics should be about Jesus somewhere in there. Absolutely.
Right. Right.
So-
Absolutely. So, Popular Mechanics is saying that AI will hack our brains, expert says. To hack a human being is to get to know that person better than they know themselves. So again, what are we talking about? We're talking about relationships, building healthy relationships in the home, with our friendships, in the body of Christ, in the workplace, wherever we find ourselves. And I've called this for years, I've called it friendship evangelism, by the way. And so with friendship evangelism or being relational in our homes, it's going to make it harder for our children or our grandchildren or others in our sphere of influence to try and seek to find what they're looking for in a non-organic way. Because AI is not organic. I know they're trying to make organoid AI and all of that, and I've spoken a lot about that, but it's still a ways off from where it could be right now, obviously. All right. So, but do this. Talk to me for a minute about some of the things that are happening there in where you're at. Some of the some of the problems and the struggles and things that you're seeing in Australia.
Sure. Well, okay. So right before I left, I mean, there are two big things going on in Australia. First off, and this started probably about 2 years ago and all like that. So it's a big deal that they're trying to crack down on people using phones here in Australia, to the point where like you cannot even have it near you, or else you're getting a ticket. And we're not talking just, oh, dude, we're talking, this is going a little, I told you earlier, it's like, I just wanted to even, I didn't know what we were going to even call the show, because I wanted to call it Crocodile Dundee is Dead. Which it's like, I'll tell you firsthand, it's like, a lot of Americans, myself included, I think, we all have this idea that Australia is like the land of the home, or land of the free and home of the brave and whatnot, just like, Crocodile Dundee. And I'm going to tell you firsthand, it's like, well, if you need to find a lefty, they're there. That's for sure. All putting laws down that are absolutely crazy. And, between the speeding and the phone thing there. So let me talk to you about the speeding thing. Most speeds in Australia are 100 kilometers an hour. So you're looking at 62 miles an hour. Okay. I know I got to do the translation for you. It's okay. So there are cameras just about everywhere. And then there's mobile cameras in cars. So it's kind of like, okay, and they're very sophisticated now to where they're doing, it's not just a radar shot here, it's computer figuring out the plates and things like that, and they're going to pluck your thing out from a sea of cars and all like that. Dude, if you're doing 102 kilometers an hour, you're getting a ticket. I mean, that's how strict they are. So it's kind of like, okay, well, they do it with the idea of, okay, well, cameras are going to stop the speeding, right? And I guess to a degree, there's a lot less accidents. I will give it that much. But a lot of Australians see this as a revenue maker. And so segueing into the whole point of these phones and all like that, what they've been putting up lately is a new AI sophisticated camera on bridges and mobile devices that are high, and they look down. And so they'll look inside the cockpit of the car, and if they see anything that even looks like a phone, dude, you could be holding a brownie.
But why can't you have a phone where is your phone going to be?
Right. It better be in a cradle or hidden off somewhere.
Or in your pocket. Or...
No. It better not be seen. Like, don't have it on your lap.
Right.
Like it is
So what's wrong with it being on your lap if you're not looking at your phone?
any electronic device. Exactly. That's the point. However, this is how they see it. And so in other words, you're getting a $1,600 ticket in the mail. Good luck arguing that. I am not joking. That's how out of control this is getting there. They've also started installing these new average speed cameras. So you cross one line here. Well, if you think that, oh, okay, I'll just slow down for the camera here. Nope. They're going to get you at the other camera on the other end. So you need to maintain that speed between the two places. It getting out of hand. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, I didn't vote for this. I don't want it. And the thing is, the way I look at it personally is it's like, okay, if it's truly about public safety, then you stick cops on the road to stop the speeding in the moment to get them to slow down. Not a ticket in the mail 2 weeks later. I'm sorry, folks, I'm going off on this because it's like this is the thing that it's just been ramping up lately because it's become, and nobody's fighting it. No, and that's the frustration with this is they just keep bringing up all this new technology. I was living in Melbourne for 11 years. I went through part of COVID. I saw it happen there where they brought in the new biometric security cameras. Of course, they installed those in the dead of the night. And I'll say, with the Chinese nationalists, they flew in illegally to install the equipment in the middle of the night. Oh, yeah. So that was going on. You want me to go one extra little step? Okay. I just found out that, here it is in the middle of COVID. We had these plainclothes police just come out of nowhere with these new military vehicles. I just found out in May when I was down there running the conference there. Dude, they flew in American mercenaries to enforce the laws. I am not kidding.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah. So it's out of hand, and that goes hand in hand with the United Nations idea where they will fly certain republics to other countries to enforce their laws. They did it. So, and there's no pushback. It's unbelievable. Oh, I got you on this one, huh?
Wow. So what does the church do about all these things?
They shut their church down. That's exactly what happened.
Did anyone protest it?
Well, first off, they don't know about it, for one. I mean, this is stuff that's come out in the mix of things over time. But here it is, and again, you've heard me talk about this about my church back in Melbourne, where I was keeping the church open with the video that I was producing for them. But in the end, when the masks came, I refused, and they handed me my hat. They said, "We don't need you anymore, John." Too bad, so sad. I mean, and then, of course, well, later I found out, and this is all an ACC, Australian Christian Churches. This is a organization much like the Assembly of God. What was happening there is the government was paying off the church, or paying off the association to keep them shut.
No way.
Oh, yeah. So who cares about the Bible? Who cares about the Bible at that point? Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So you wonder why I say these things like Crocodile Dundee's dead. Oh, yeah. This is for a reason.
That is crazy. So the government was paying the church entity.
Well, the entity, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, what do you expect is going to come from this? And of course, I'm thinking to myself, every single one of those pastors that made that decision, dude, you're going to have to answer for what you did. In fact, I remember we were in the middle of shooting the music at that time, and we had the associate pastor. It was just him and me. We were. I was setting up cameras and things like that, and he comes walking up next to me. And we're talking about this kind of stuff, and actually. So get this. This goes to show you the mentality of some of these people. It's like, because we were all struggling with work, and I was telling him about how all this business kind of came in. And he goes and says to me, "You see, God is blessing you for blessing us." Like as in, it's a give and take type of thing where, because I'm helping the church, God is now blessing me with business, right? And I just said to him, like, well, I'm not going to presume to know exactly what
God is
God's
doing.
motivation
Right, right.
behind this. But okay, and then I said to him, and this is the important part, I said to him, when all the dust settles, I have to wonder how many people are going to regret the decisions they made today. And he looks at me like I just did a 360 with my head, like, huh? Like that? And there we are. I'll never forget that. That was absolutely crazy. And here we are, how many years later, all the truth is finally coming out about all this stuff.
Yeah, but people don't care anymore, though.
No.
That's the thing. And in fact, I just had brought up, and by the way, guys, we'll take your questions and your statements. It's open-ended today, so we'll just go with it. But put your questions and your statements out there, and we'll get to those. So, but I had just said, what was it, Sunday night? So, we were, almost 6 years into this whole global baloney here over the sickness. And Calvary Chapel San Jose, you got Governor Newsom still going after them for $1.2 million, even though the Supreme Court said that the things that were being done against churches was unconstitutional. So there you go.
People don't care, but again, it falls in line with the Bible about lawlessness.
Right.
The law. What does it say? Lawlessness will increase. Well, people just don't care.
Right.
Oh, okay, I know that's what the judge says, but yeah, I don't care.
Right. Yeah. So let's get to this right here. Question from Hannah. John, how often will you be doing Zoom meetings for everyone to join?
That's
Love
a great
that.
question. Thank you for asking that. Actually, those weekly meetings, this whole thing started up organically, where I started doing those shows with Tom Hughes, and I started the ministry, themightyright.com, and I don't even really run that. It's like these people just came
Does
out.
AI run it? I figure it's
Oh, you got me on that one.
There we go.
You got me on that one. No, what happened was, anyway, there are people who step in. Okay, to answer your question, the weekly Zoom meetings happen on their own. It's every week. You can go to themightyright.com for the schedule. It's right on the front page there. Everyone is welcome. You don't even need to be a part of Facebook or any of that kind of stuff. You just click on the button, and there's one in Australia, and there's one in the United States here. Excuse me. And they are two separate Zoom calls, and they happen on Wednesday. So Wednesday in Australia, which is actually Tuesday here, and then Wednesday in America here. So Central Time Zone, I think it's 5:30 Central Time Zone here.
Cool.
So yeah. I tried to get you, didn't I?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to work on that one though.
All right.
Yeah, the timing just didn't work for me.
I know.
At the time.
It's all good.
We had a lot of things going on at the time.
And that's the other thing too. I'm trying to get guys like yourself to come in as guest speakers, do Q&As, just kind of like we do, because it makes it a lot more engaging. And people, it's like. Look, the whole idea of these meetings to begin with was to get like-minded believers, people who don't really have a church or people who don't have friends who can even talk openly about all things of Jesus. I mean, there's a need there, and that's what the Zoom calls are actually for. So that's why everyone is welcome to come.
Cool. That is awesome. So I don't know if you saw this or not. Israel 365 News update and clarification regarding the red heifer from the Temple Institute and from the Sanhedrin. So this was an interesting one, and this has been kind of being unpacked kind of over the past couple of weeks, even though this particular thing just came out. The burning of the red heifer on July 1st, which we talked about, marked a significant moment in Jewish tradition, sparking considerable discussion. The Temple Institute, which has long been preparing for this ritual, issued its first official statement on the event, addressing various claims circulated across or media platforms such as YouTube. It says, additionally, the Sanhedrin had issued its own statement regarding the event. And it goes on from there. So Jewish tradition maintains that the red heifer is the most enigmatic and difficult to understand law that God had given in the Torah. Goes on from there, all kinds of things. But it says on July 1st, a red heifer had been housed at Shiloh by Boneh Israel organization and was prepared and burned on some wood there at an undisclosed location in Samaria. The ceremony was carried out by a Kohen, a Jewish man descended from Aaron the priest. The cow was one of 5 red calves that were brought from Texas, of course, and we've talked about that before as well, there to Israel. Israel paid a lot of money to have those shipped there. And the Temple Institute, though, statement reads as follows. In light of incorrect information that has been published regarding the red heifer, the Temple Institute would like to announce, number 1. So listen. For about 10 years, Temple Institute has been engaging in preparation to produce ashes of the red heifer, both from educational and a practical perspective. And so they've been trying, there's very specific guidelines or rules or whatever for that whole thing. All right. About 3 months ago, a practice was held in the Samaritan Mountains in which a simulation of the making of ashes of a red heifer was conducted. Then it says that, of course, the ashes of the red heifer that are not made on the Mount of Olives while facing the site of the Holy Temple are completely invalid. And that's in the Mishnah and all of that. Therefore, we clarify that the simulation was only an exercise, part of a series of exercises that were, and with God's help, will continue to be conducted before we properly prepare to fulfill the mitzvah according to Torah requirements. So this is interesting. Because so they did that. In fact, it goes on to say anyone with claims otherwise that the heifer was kosher and the ashes produced from it are kosher for the purpose of purification is mistaken and misleading, either intentionally or unintentionally. And by the way, the in between of this story is I had actually heard that very thing, someone actually saying that they believe that this was an actual sacrifice of a bona fide, legitimate red heifer. And the first thing I thought to myself was that it couldn't be because it was done there in Samaria.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of information, folks, and this is the reason why I didn't speak about this bit of information that came out a few weeks ago, because there's so much information and disinformation on these things that are out there. But listen, here's the thing that I find interesting and fascinating is that they used it as, which I reported on months ago, going all the way back there to July, that they used this as a test run or a trial run, so to speak, for when it is actually time to do that very thing. And why that is significant is because there has to be the ashes of the red heifer for the temple.
Do you think, though, too, that there could be two things going on in terms of, okay, well, here's what we're showing you, and here's what's behind the scenes? Like they've got a whole other set of red heifers kind of, they don't, not letting the Palestinians know about it because this could kind of upset the whole group. I don't know.
Well,
it's an idea. I just want to throw that out there.
Well, we know that there are other red heifers that are there in the whole process of either being ruled out or one that will be actually accepted.
I'm just saying part of it could be like this whole dog and pony show just to kind of appease all the people who are, with the Temple Institute. But really what's happening behind the scenes is, oh, no, we got a red heifer over here. We just don't want to reveal it yet.
Oh, like a smoke and screen
completely.
kind of thing.
Completely. I'm throwing it out there because simply for the sake of, I think that it could, if Israel's coming through and saying that we've got a red heifer ready to go, we just need our permission to build our temple and all like that, that would set the whole region off. So that's kind of why I would think they'd kind of keep, especially with all the turmoil going on right now. Mm-hmm. Look, it's just a theory. I'm throwing it out there. I don't know anything. See, it's just one of those things.
I believe when it's actually time to sacrifice a bona fide red heifer, that there's not going to be any way to keep that a secret.
At that time, yes, I agree. But I think this could all be the kind of, okay, well, this is what we're doing. This is what's going on right now. And yeah, I think we got one. And so it's making all the Palestinians look over here as opposed to over here where they've actually got one.
Well, we know that they're training the priests, right? And you definitely don't like if you finally get a bona fide, according to biblical specifications, and their additional laws that they add to everything, right? You finally get one. You don't want to use that one to do the...
you need a practice sacrifice.
I mean, right. And then go all of a sudden, oops, wait a minute, we missed something here. Oh, no, we waited thousands of years to get one.
That would be bad.
Well,
that would be bad.
Someone just lost their job or, I don't know, whatever. So, that's not going to happen.
Right.
But the very fact that they're doing these things, folks, is telling everyone the direction that they're going. This is the direction that they want to go. And that's exactly what we see in the Word of God. There's going to be a temple. And there's nothing that says, by the way, that it couldn't even be built. I mean, it may be built right before the tribulation. It could be built in the very early part of the tribulation. What we know is that it has to be built at least a little bit before the middle of the tribulation. Right. Because in the middle of the tribulation is when the Antichrist is going to go in and have his heyday there in the Holy of Holies. But we know that before that, Scripture says that there are going to be the sacrifices that are taking place there. So it has to be at some point before the middle of the tribulation. How much in advance of that, though? Well, nobody knows.
I've always had a theory about this in that, it's the Antichrist who gives Israel the permission to build this temple. And, of course, okay, how long is it going to take? Well, probably about 3 years. I mean, I've heard things to where the stone is cut, but it's almost like I have to wonder if that 3.5 year mark, well, why would the Antichrist have to come to the temple to, desecrate this thing? It's like, well, what kind of makes sense to me is it's like, well, we're now having a grand opening of the temple at the 3.5 year mark. Why don't we invite the one guy who let us build the whole thing? Come on down. We're going to honor you in the midst of this.
Now, see, for myself, I don't believe that it's the Antichrist that's going to let them build the temple.
Okay.
I think the Antichrist is going to help provide some of that security mechanism for them once that thing has been built. Let's get to this right here. Donna C. put a statement out. I used to think that Australia was the one place to run to that was normal. Not anymore. Yikes.
I'm sorry I painted such a bad picture, because the thing is I'm going back to Australia. I mean, that's my home. But it's like, look, Australia is we never used to worry about politics until COVID. Honestly, everything changed after that. And then you got to really see who's who. in all of that, and the nefarious players that are going on. What bothered me more than anything, though, in the middle of all of that is the people who went along with it. And I've talked about this before about how I think, to me, this is the difference in principalities, the actual spiritual principalities that rule, one over Australia versus the one that's over America. To give you a short just overview of that, to unpack it just a little bit, I heard a pastor talk about it this way, where Australia was basically birthed as a penal colony. So therefore, you've got a level of conformity, a level of oppression that was already inbuilt into the formation of the country. Where if you go back to the original founding of America, what was America founded under? Well, it was founded under the spirit of rebellion. Think about that. Everybody that you meet is like, well, you can't tell me what to do. Right. You know, I mean, and that all stems back to, 1700s, where they were well, first off, why did people come here to begin with? Opportunity, obviously, for one, but also to get out from underneath the thumb of what was St. George or King George at the time. And then when he started to infringe and ask for, I don't know, what was it, 5% of what you sold? That was the tax that was asked at the time. And what are you paying now in taxes? People rebelled against it and said no more. Next thing you know, you got the Declaration of Independence. And of course, even then, it was still shaky ground.
Yeah,
I mean, it took a while for the country to evolve.
Right.
So I mean, that's kind of what's happening in Australia. I do think that people nowadays would be more apt to, okay, the veil's come off. People have done things wrong still, but I still think everybody, especially politicians, they're going to point. They've got a really weird way of doing things. Politicians do, people in general, I think too, but in Australia, where they've got a phrase called, "She'll be right, mate," where it's like, she'll be right, mate, where it's the idea is that everything will work its way out. So let's just sweep it under the rug and forget about it. That's kind of that's a very common, expression or attitude.
What's going to be is going to be. What's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah, without being proactive about it. Well, you know what? Those cameras that they just set up, nothing we can do about it. So it's just going to be. A new one that just I wanted to say this. I want to throw this out there because this just came down the pike, by the way, too. And we'll see if this one comes. Do you know in the United Kingdom that they've got a law there where if you're let's say a pensioner or taking off the dole, basically welfare in the UK, if you're in a house, you buy a house, if you're in a house and that bedroom is not used for sleeping, they can tax you on that. And so what they can do is I know. Hold on. They tax you on that room. I use that room as, for my side hustle, my business or whatever. We don't care if it's not used for, it's trying to alleviate the whole housing crisis. So what they do in UK is they're taking away your benefits. That's the mechanism they're using. What they're going to do, and this apparently, right when I left, this was on the plan, and I don't know if people know about what the heck is going on here. They're now going to do it in Australia for homeowners.
But so what do they want you to do with the room?
Or do they want you to somebody in it that can put somebody in it that can, it can be used for housing. So here it is. Let's say, you worked your fingers to the bone, to pay your house off. A couple, hopefully still together, and you had, let's say, 3 kids, you got a 5-bedroom house or a 4-bedroom house, and now you got 3 vacant rooms. Yeah, they want to try and tax you on that now. Oh yeah, that's a coming. So how many people are going to push back on that? And I'm just thinking to myself, do I ever want to own a house in Australia now? What the heck is going on? Wow. So pay attention. If you're in Australia right now, go look that up. I wish I had the name of that. But I just caught that right before I jumped on the plane coming here. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So they're trying to push it.
They've got to raise all of these tax revenues, just like they do here in the States, like they do here in Las Vegas, because they utilize those taxes for, well,
Good things like putting cameras up.
all kinds of wonderful things, right? Right. In fact, my son Jeremy was just telling me, the whole property tax thing, and he saw how that went up for him, and he's like, "Why did it go up like that?" And so he does his research, and they said, "Well, because you did some home improvements on your property. I think it was in the backyard or something like that. Because you did that, we need to tax you more."
Yeah.
Now, and so think about this.
How does that incentivize you?
Think about this for a moment. You pay tax on the income that you got so that you could take that income and purchase things to beautify your property. Now you paid the tax on those things to beautify your property, and then because you did that to make your property nicer, the city of Las Vegas or the county, I don't know if it's city or county, whichever it is, I don't know if they're flying their drones over, because how would they know what you got in your backyard?
Good question.
They're flying their drones over, and they're comparing the photo of what your backyard used to look like to what your backyard looks like now. And then because you're beautifying the property, we're going to tax you because you invested in the economy. So you're being triple taxed. You were taxed on the income, you were taxed on the purchase or the service for a country or for a company to come in and do some of this work, and now you're being penalized with the tax because you actually invested in the economy.
Well,
who comes up with this stuff?
Go one extra step further. There you go, trying to, let's say, pass that piece of property on to your loved ones should you pass away, and then that gets taxed, depending on what state you're in.
Right, depending on where you're at. I mean, this is madness, absolute madness. So this one right here from...
And what do you get for that? You get less wages or wages that stay the same, and you get gas prices, and you get food prices that go up.
You get for it. It's not what you get for it. It's what the illegal aliens get for it, because they come into the country illegally.
Why not?
Illegally. You're really bringing some stuff out of me here. They come into the country illegally, and we're going to give them all of this stuff for free.
Yep.
Right.
Why not?
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Well, you could always kind of go to Mexico and walk in and get your benefits when you come walking back, right?
Crazy. So on the app, you got Jeremy going over there. On the app, Dave Rowland said our Premier of Ontario is against speed cameras.
Good for him.
And is going to ban them starting tomorrow.
Great.
Awesome. Well, at least there's something decent going on there.
Fight the power.
Friend of mine just got a ticket in the mail for $465.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's cheap. That's cheap. Most tickets in Australia, I believe, are like $1,000 more, and keep going from there.
Incredible! I can't even imagine that. Pookie said, "Now Trump days are nearing. As president from his party on the right to impeach him unless he steps down, which Vance and a tech VP to step in. They are pressing Trump to." Rid MAGA.
Your thoughts.
Or your thoughts.
Your thoughts. So basically, are you saying that somebody's putting pressure on Trump to basically step down and get Vance to step in? First off, Trump, he's way too proud. That's not going to happen. He will go down with the ship.
He will go down.
I
with
mean,
the
seriously.
Ship. Right.
So that's kind of my thoughts on it. I wouldn't put any weight to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't put any weight to that either. He won't. He's not stepping down. Okay, Vindog Radio said the people, even in the Republican Party, are trying to force Trump out of office. Are you guys seeing the end of MAGA? What are your thoughts on that?
That ain't gonna happen.
I know you got some of your thoughts on all of this. And
where's my hat? Where's my MAGA hat? No, I first off, I don't believe it's constitutionally legal to begin with. So, I mean, there's got to be a reason. Even if, and people understand too, the impeachment All that is the process. That doesn't mean that you're getting booted out of there. So I just don't see it happening. It's very interesting to see it all play out, but it's static. It's static to me.
Right,
So.
right. Well, and we find over the past, many years now, all of the lawfare that is taking place, and all of these things, it wastes government time and it wastes taxpayers' money, so that literally nothing gets done in the country. So, Asset Ministries asks, do you think COVID instituted the Great Reset, or do you think it is still coming?
What are we defining the Great Reset? I mean, that's the WEF Great Reset.
The what now?
WEF Great Reset.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Still coming, because I think the Great Reset, there's a greater,
Agenda 2030.
Yeah, it's not just that. It's when you start looking at the economy and the currencies that are going on right now. I mean, and we understand what the Bible says is that it's a global currency that basically is ushered in. What I think we're seeing right now, and you can see this from just even the increase of price in gold. I think that's probably a very good indicator of the strength or the therefore weakness of the dollar. To expand upon that is to say that it's not that piece of gold costs any more. It's the fact that the dollar is being devalued to the point where it now costs more dollars to buy the same piece of metal. So I use that as kind of a litmus test to kind of gauge where is the economy in the moment. Mm-hmm. Just, 2-3 weeks ago, we hit the highest gold level ever, historically ever. But I think there's a greater plan that falls in line with the whole Great Reset of, devaluing currencies globally. For that matter, you go look at China and other countries. I mean, they are buying gold by the ton. Why would they be doing that? Because they know something's coming. So we're not there yet. But I believe that is coming. COVID, though, what I believe, there were many things I think that came off of COVID. One, I think one of the big things is they wanted to see just how well they could control people. That's a big one. I saw it firsthand in Melbourne, how people were so complacent and fell in line with that to a point. Mm-hmm. But the other side of that, too, is all the the shots that they were giving everybody too. I mean, in my studies of even doing that, there were different levels of what they we want to see, we were just all human guinea pigs for the people who took it. So it's so obviously they got some information that was off of that. In fact, let me add this in there too. And this happened probably about 2 years ago. I did an edit for a European. I do video editing, people, by the way. And I was given a job by I had to edit a conference that was over in Europe somewhere, and it was so funny. They actually had people from the WEF come over and talk. Really? And there I am editing this video piece and all. And one guy threw it out there to the private sector to say, we are looking to be able to attach DNA to currency. Anybody have an idea? Come see me. I am not joking.
So why would they want to attach DNA?
Well, again, I think it's because of the control mechanism. They, ultimately, this is going to be where everybody has a number, everybody has a mark, and it goes back to the whole idea of UBI, where, we're going to give you your 15 pesos or whatever it might be. You can't have 16. Your mark isn't on that one. So I would imagine that would be how they would go about doing it. I'm just telling you what was said in this conference. So
wow, and when was this conference?
2 years ago.
Wow.
Over in Europe. And I'm telling you, it was just literally, they just let out in Davos and they came right over to this country. It's so weird how God has positioned me in certain places with certain information at these times that I'm just like, well, that happened.
Wow.
Seriously,
Wow.
unbelievable.
That is crazy. So, Sincole said foreign drivers, India, drove his truck into a pole here in Ottawa and took off. The pole was knocked over.
Oh, did it have a camera on top of the pole? I hope so.
Well, I had seen, and I forget how many it is, but in California, and I don't know if this was numerous DMVs or one particular DMV, giving the what is it, a particular driver's license that you've got to have to operate, some of these big rigs.
Oh, yeah,
and
which I agree with that.
right, and all of that, but giving them to these foreign drivers that don't know any English or barely any English. Some of them are here illegally, and people are getting killed. In some of these other parts, I don't know what it's like in Australia. But,
I'm going to tell you.
People drive.
Yeah.
They drive on the opposite side that we drive here in America, and so they come from some of these other countries, and they're here, and they're. We're running into a lot of problems with that.
Let's go from a different aspect, but with the immigration issue, because Melbourne especially is having, Sydney even for that matter, is having just serious immigration issues. And so there is you think the housing crisis here is bad? Come to Australia, because the rents are through the roof, and there might be, when you go looking for a house to rent, I am not kidding you, there might be 90 to 100 people all bidding for the same house.
Just to rent a home.
Just to rent. I'm not joking. It is horrendous. Now, to go into what I'm talking about here, in Melbourne, and this is becoming a very, very big issue with the construction industry down there, is that you've got these immigrants who come over who they need a job. They need work. So what do? They get, Indian guy who owns a construction company who's shady to begin with. I'm not saying that Indians are shady, not at all. It's just that this is what's happening, is that you got one guy who's got some sort of money who is going to obviously hire his other Indian or Sri Lankan or whatever ethnicity buddies. They bought a plot of land, and they hire these guys on who have never lifted a hammer in their whole entire life, and now they're building houses for all of Australia. And so this is creating such bedlam where these people are buying houses for, let's say, $800,000, $900,000 for a house. Oh yeah, by the way, it ain't cheap to buy a house in Australia. Buying these houses down there and on a postage stamp size piece of property, only to find out that the roof leaks, the tile is popping up, to all sorts of house issues that come up 6 months later after the deal is done, and then that company is now gone. Bankrupt, gone, out of the country.
So then you got to utilize your homeowner's insurance.
Yeah, but in a lot of times it's not covered. So it's a mess. It's a mess.
There's all of that as well. Wow.
It's a mess.
Wow. Okay, so President Trump to attend Davos meeting. God's Warrior. Hey, hi, God's Warrior. Glad to have you on today. So President Trump to attend Davos meeting.
Oh, boy. What does that mean?
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of that one.
I have no comment to that.
So Gwen Stone saying the cameras wouldn't help. He's a foreigner. He's not responsible. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, what's the worst they can do? Maybe jail him for a small amount of time and then deport him. It's kind of where it goes.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, it's like, what was it? It was just recently. In fact, boy, did they ever bury this, that Ukrainian girl in New York City who got killed. You remember?
Are you talking about the one on the bus? Or
on the subway.
Or subway.
You remember
yeah.
that? That guy shouldn't even be in the country, right? So what happened with that?
Well, that guy was a certifiable nut.
Well,
I mean, he had all this criminal record. behind him.
Yeah.
And, and this we see is all the lawlessness that just keeps breaking out. And I don't understand how these guys are allowed to walk the streets. How some of these guys are literally just locked up 20 times, 30 times. I mean,
I have no explanation. Please, please. I don't know. I don't know. It's frustration. It's like, what happened? I mean,
but a Christian who is just standing on a sidewalk or a street corner, not impeding anyone coming or going from an abortion death mill, not holding up signs that are offensive, not heckling or of course not saying anything, just standing there and silently praying to be taken away and to be fined.
Oh, yeah.
Here in America.
In America?
Oh, yeah, that stuff happens. All over.
All right.
All over.
Well, I was going to go back to lawlessness because you jogged my head here, too. Just, I think 3 weeks ago, something like that, you just had some woman who was walking home from work. Just some crazy came up to her and just stabbed her. Just no reason. And that was that was in Sydney. So it's all over.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I saw that.
Yeah.
I think I saw that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of crazy.
My thing, though, is how long will the individual stay locked up for? Or
well, in Australia, oh my gosh, it's so lax with they'll lock people up here for 20 years, where in Australia they might get 2. Wow. It's kind of crazy how they do not put people away, not really.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
I mean, look, there's pros and cons. I mean, if you've got someone who's genuinely, I know this is going to get a lot of flack, but it's like if you've got someone who's genuinely sorrowful, and there's a way to kind of keep an eye on them and give them a second chance. I'm all for second chances. People make mistakes. I get that to a degree, depending on the nature of the crime to begin with. But there are other crimes that is like, dude, you're not coming back from this. But yet, wow, you only got 10 years for that? Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm moving.
Right. Right. It's the injustice of the justice system.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord that Jesus is coming back, though, to right all of these wrongs.
To right all the wrongs, exactly, because he is the ultimate judge.
Amen. Amen. So, man, can you close us out in what is our hope as Christians? We're talking about all kinds of weird and crazy things and lawlessness and control over people and AI's advancement and taking jobs from people and all of these kinds of things. But what is our hope?
Well, look, I mean, the hope that I have, at least within all of this, is to, everything we discuss, because we read our Bible, because we know at least a sequence of events or some events that are coming. We know just how, I can't believe we're still here. We had this conversation a while back. It's like, woo, is it going to be today? Is it, So I am a staunch believer in the pre-tribulation rapture of the church. And I think that's where, for me, that's where my hope is that when all this stuff kind of, comes along, God is going to take his church out. For judgment to then come. So, I mean, that's what drives me in all this. I know it drives you, is the fact that we've got a finite amount of time to spread the gospel to as many people as we can. It's not that everybody's going to be listening, it doesn't mean they're going to get saved instantly. But, I would encourage everybody who's even listening here today is to say, look, you're just a messenger. And I know a lot of people have issues with witnessing to other people. In fact, if anything, I think that's make sure you know what your witness is, what your story is. People like stories. And so therefore, I like to tell stories about how God has blessed my life, about how God has blessed your life or could bless your life. But, the hope we have is in Jesus Christ to basically not basically, to basically cover us of our sins so that we are found righteous before God. We will continue sinning. We try not to sin, as we are commanded to do in the Bible. But we have that hope in Jesus Christ that we will be found righteous before God and that he took the judgment for us. Mm-hmm. And that's why we do these things. We're just spreading that word out to people, whether they accept it or not. That's I look at it this way. Your job is only the messenger. You just deliver the message. It's the Holy Spirit's job to convict that person.
Amen.
Not yours.
Amen.
And that takes a lot of pressure off you.
It takes all the pressure off. It takes all the pressure off.
Yep.
That's all.
That's it.
All right.
I'm done.
Amen. Amen. Well, hey, how can people find you?
So you can find me at themightyright.com. Yeah, that's it. So we do the Zoom calls, which I talked about earlier, and then who knows where I'll be. I'm doing all sorts of stuff now in Vegas here, so it's good times. Yeah. Oh, and also, too, if you want to see me on YouTube, too, if you, for some odd reason, they gave me some weird name on YouTube, just do a search for John Prescott, Prescott, or TT, Australia. Make sure you put Australia in there, otherwise you get some ugly guy from the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess he was a prime minister or something like that. We share the name. So,
right. Interesting. Interesting.
So that's it.
All right. Well, thanks, and glad to have you here today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and just continue to enjoy your stay. I know it's a work trip.
Yep.
And he's working on a cool project. So
we can talk about it,
We can talk.
We can talk about it now.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about it?
Oh, well, all right.
Can I plug this?
Let's talk about this for a moment then.
All right. I'm letting the cat out of the bag. Thank you, Kurt, for allowing me a platform to even talk about this. This has been in the works now for the last 5 months. We're shooting a movie. I'm not kidding. And this is through Get a Life Ministries with Billy Crone. And I'm here shooting a trailer here in Vegas. Looking for people. We're looking for key characters. If you go to, the name of the movie is called Turning Point. We're kind of using that as a little marketing tool. But if you go to turningpointthemovie.com, turningpointthemovie.com, you can get information. It's still kind of in its infancy. But yeah, man, the one thing I hate to hear about Christian movies is that a lot of people in Christendom, they're kind of like, well, that was pretty good for a Christian movie. Mm-hmm. And look, I don't ever want to hear that. I mean, I've been doing this now for over 25 years, and we've got a good crew of people that we're forming now. And the story is absolutely fantastic, too, where it's like we're dealing with one of the sins in church. And basically, and this goes to show you part of the reason why, I think the church is as weak as it is, with few exceptions. But the reason why the church is weak in America is because the word is not really spoken of. There's no true repentance, even being preached, what the church is coming to. And so we picked the sin of racism in the church, and saying that, you cannot get beyond yourself. There's not going to be revival until you get beyond yourself, because we are all made the same in the image of God. I think a lot of people in church, a lot of Christians, these are just, again, I see it as this is one of the principalities that operates here in America, because I don't see any of this racism like I do here in Australia. This is an American thing.
Really?
It is not the way it is here, yeah. Granted, it's in Europe, it's in other places, but it's different. So that's why I say this is more of a principality than anything. So we're addressing this head on to basically shine the flashlight, so to speak, on this sin and say, hey, it's a problem. If you are truly a believer in Christ, you might need to think about getting past yourself. So
wow.
That's it.
Well, definitely something for everyone online to keep in their prayers, and all of the work behind the scenes and all of that, getting this out.
I'll throw this out there too. We're looking for characters. If you go to that website, there's an auditions link on there. There's a couple key characters we still need. Please contact that today. In fact, you can even write me. I'm going to throw this out there, put my neck on the chopping block. John, John, @themightyright.com. Send me a headshot and your profile if you've done any acting, if you're in the Vegas area or you can be here that week before Christmas or whatever. We need a couple key people.
Cool.
So that's it. It'd be great.
That's pretty cool. All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for being on today, John. And
It was good fun.
God bless y'all. We look forward to seeing y'all next time, whether it be here, there, or in the air. God bless you.